Hello and welcome to Rockies Recap, gas station edition. Tom is joining us from Illinois in a gas station, random gas station. So, Tom, how are you doing? And wow, what a series!
I'm doing pretty good. The reason I'm joining remotely is because after work I had a bowling league tonight, and so I was not going to make it home in time. So I found a gas station, pulled over, got something to drink, and joined
Mhm.
from a remote. For me, this is a remote version of the Rockies now week or the Rockies recap for me.
There you
But
go.
all in all,
Yeah,
but it was a fantastic series, back-to-back
yeah,
series wins out of the All-Star break, so it's awesome.
yeah. Rockies won the first series out of the break, of course, against the Giants, which we talked about in the last recap. Won 2 out of 3. We had that awesome Sunday where Todd Helton was inducted into the Hall of Fame officially, and really good game one. But before we get into that, I want to share this tweet by our friend Patrick Lyons over at on X. Let me see if I can pull it up here on the screen. Um, and this is something that kind of caught my attention, and I think for a lot of us, kind of caught our attention. Your Colorado Rockies, folks, they have the most home runs in Major League Baseball since June 15th, when the
Mhm.
Rockies weren't doing very well. June was a bad month, as we know. Um, 58 homers in 33 games. Oddly enough, as you can read there, Rockies just hit 57 home runs in the first 69 games of the season through June 14th, fifth fewest in the majors. So start off the year, the offense was not so good, especially the power, the home run category, not good at all. Um, there's that common June swoon with the July rebound, like that with the boomerang. Um, yeah, I mean, Tom, I mean the power has been able to come around. It's been great to see. Of course, we've seen the big month so far, and I think we're looking at Brenton Doyle potentially winning Player of the Month here in the month of July as we get ready to wrap up this month and get ready for August, and the trade deadline is only days away now. The Rockies again, like Tovar, Doyle. They've been able to carry this offense, especially with the home run category. And I think we've even seen a few from Jake Cave as well. But yeah,
Mhm.
Tovar, Doyle, man, like the power has been impressive this year. And earlier tonight, Blake Street Banner was, they were doing their podcast, and they were on YouTube, and they were talking about Brenton Doyle, and I just so happened to comment about how in spring training I kind of predicted that he was going to go 2025, hit 25 home runs, 25 stolen bases, or 30-30 season, and Doyle's looking that direction. He's starting to head that way, and maybe that will be true. And so, yeah, I mean, the power, especially over the last month, has been good. A lot more home runs. This team needs power, and I think this is something that we've been lacking for several years, ever since Arenado and Story left. We did see some power, uh, from Crone and Grichuk once in a while when they were here. And that was fun. I miss Crone's zone bombs, but to see Doyle and Tovar in their sophomore seasons to hit for the long ball consistently, almost every single game. And I forgot a player too, Michael Toglia. How could I forget about Michael Toglia? Toglia, he's really coming around. He's now hitting, I believe, over 200. And that's who he is. And I forget who tweeted this out, but somebody said that the Rockies now have their own Joey Gallo without having to trade for him or go on free agency to get him. So, yeah, the power has been great for the Rockies. Hopefully, and fingers crossed, that continues as we move forward. But yeah, as you can see, game one was a good game. The Rockies got off to, I believe it was at a 4-run lead early in the game. Boston kind of came back. It was a back and forth game. It was a good game though. I wasn't able to watch most of the game until once it got into extra innings, and for the most part, I was like, oh man, this is kind of this is kind of cool. I mean, the Red Sox, they're playing pretty well. Of course, they had just recently, I believe, gotten swept by Boston in LA. But yeah, I mean, the Rockies, they scored some runs early in the third inning, scored 4 runs there, and then the Red Sox scored 4 more runs, or I should say, they scored their first 4 runs in the fifth inning, and it kind of just went back and forth. Not a lot of offense. The Rockies got 1 run in the seventh, and then the Red Sox got one in the eighth. and then we went to extras, and we know how all that went. It was kind of weird. The Rockies pitching was, especially the bullpen, was pretty good. Um, but yeah, I mean, Ezekiel Tovar, he got the walk off. And he was having some illness there, was having a what you call a flu game, and he played really well. And I think Michael Toglia, I think it was Toglia, commented how he kind of looked this as a Michael Jordan esque type of game, flu game, and so, but yeah, Rockies got a good win there. Austin Gomber pitched pretty well, got 5 strikeouts there. Bullpen overall was pretty good. Justin Lawrence was nice. Victor Vodnik kind of got roughed up a little bit, but again, only gave up 1 earned run, 2 hits, and a strikeout. So good win for the Rockies. Kind of start that momentum, start a series. That's always something that you love to see. And the Rockies up to that point have won 3 of the first 4. Going to game 2, Ty Block was kind of a emergency starter, I should say, for Herman Marquez, which is on, I believe, the 10 or 15 day IL with elbow inflammation. It sucks, dude, because Marquez having to come back from Tommy John, and it doesn't appear to be super serious, but still, it's something that we've seen Marquez have in the last year. He had it a little bit last year before he was shut down, or before he had to start against Cleveland. Then he was shut down for Tommy John. But it just sucks for Marquez. But Ty Block got roughed up a bit in the first 3 to 4 innings. Then after that, Anthony Molina and Noah Davis, they were nails. They were great. Great job there to shut down the Red Sox offense, who can be pretty scary. The Red Sox have some hitters. Duran, he was an all-star for the Red Sox this year. Devers, he's always, he's one of the best hitters in baseball, right? And the Rockies were able to silence them there. So it wasn't a horrible game, but offensively, it was just like one of those days to where it's just like the Rockies didn't show up, and we've had multiple days like that this year, and it was just like, we need the offense to be better. And game 3, Broncos, Patriots. Is it football season already, Tom? I think so, because the Rockies, they absolutely embarrassed the Red Sox. Not to mention the first benches clearing of the season for the Rockies. There was okay. So Reese McGuire came up to the plate, popped it up, and Doyle caught it. And Quantrill, he's done this multiple times this year. Where he's gotten in jams and gets out of it, yells. And almost every single pitcher does that, except maybe a few of them that are tight-lipped, very quiet. Quantrill is very much a vocal guy, and he does have a quiet side to him. But Quantrill was just celebrating, and the Red Sox at this point were down by quite a bit. I believe they were already losing by like 7 or 8 runs already, if not more than that. Reese McGuire took offense to that and started yapping. And we're not going to say what we believe what Quantrill said, but there was a brawl, and benches cleared, bullpens were clearing. It's kind of funny, but again, we'll have to wait and see what John Boy Media does. He'll probably have a lip reading video soon. That's going to be fun. But yeah, it's kind of nice to see, even though it's good that there were no punches thrown, nobody injured, but it's good for the Rockies because they need something like that, to where you have players stand up for your other players, and just like it's good for baseball, I feel like, unless if people get hurt, which thankfully it didn't. But I feel like it really helped the Rockies win even more and score more runs, because the Rockies scored up to 20 runs in that game, won 20-7. Everybody in the lineup contributed. It was overall an awesome game, including a Doyle grand slam. He should be player of the month in the month of July. If he doesn't, we will all riot and ask Major League Baseball to do something about that. But yeah, it was awesome. So let me see if I have any of the big stats here. Yeah, Jacob Stallings 3 for 4. We were talking before, I think before we went live, that Stallings could be a trade candidate for the Rockies. He went 3 for 4 with a home run, a couple doubles, 4 RBI game for Jacob Stallings, having a very solid year. Brendan Rodgers 4 for 5 with a double, 2 RBIs. Yeah, Tovar, he had a home run. and I believe he had 3 hits. He went 3 for 6, 2 RBIs. Jay Cave went 1 for 5. McMahon had an opposite field home run. He's been kind of struggling out of the gate at the second half, which is kind of to be expected since he was an all-star, really good, solid first half. But yeah, it's good to see McMahon get that home run there. And then Chris Bryant 3 for 6, so that's nice. 3 runs scored. Did strike out once, but Bryant, he reached the Mendoza's line at 200, so that's good news. Just stay healthy. That's all we want. Toglia went 3 for 5. He's now hitting 209, OPS of 767, and Sam Hilliard went 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs. So yeah, Tom, it was good to see everyone contributed in that game. The pitching was actually good, except maybe Lambert. He got gave up a couple runs there, but overall, Tom, it was you can't complain with a 20-7 win, right? I mean, you can't.
No, it was good to. The Red Sox, to so to speak, have exceeded expectations to some extent. A lot of people thought they were going to be basement, including myself, were going to be basement dwellers this season in the AL American League East.
Mm-hmm.
But even without, again, Rafael Devers is one of the best hitters in baseball. They went into the season with injury issues, including to Trevor Story, Lucas Giolito, and Liam Hendricks, who were expected to be contributors, maybe not just to all-star levels, but to some extent they were going to be guys to be relied on. They battled their fair share of injuries, but again, like I said, they have exceeded, I would say, maybe not highly exceed expectations, but they, to an extent, in my eyes and others, have done so. And when, like the Rockies, they're going to play spoiler to a lot of teams over the next remaining games of the season. And in this series, like I said, we had a football score in Game 3. Broncos beat the Patriots. I always like that because I do not like the Patriots. But altogether, this was a series where you can look at it and say the Rockies are playing as if somebody lit a fire under their you-know-whats.
Right.
And I can tell you what Quantrill said to him, but some of it's not exactly, if we want to keep this PG rated, I can't say every word. I will say, being White Sox fan, Reese McGuire did play for the White Sox in 2022. If you want to look up his history, he was arrested for a naughty public crime back in his Blue Jay days. So that is what Quantrill was yelling at him.
Yeah.
I won't repeat the words. If you're a good lip reader like I am on occasion, I know exactly what he said. Again,
Yeah.
I won't
the
say
video, the video's on YouTube, so people can check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't say it again. John Boy is most certainly going to do a video, so you can do it either way. But again, all in all, I do like the fire. I do like the passion. Quantrill does have a knack for getting out of jams. He did a great job. And for Marquez, I hope it's just some sort of dead arm issue that he had, that pitchers do occasionally get after the first series of starts in a season. But again, we shall see. I don't think it's major, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. This is nice to see. The Rockies team is they're not giving up. They're not bending their legs and saying, "Okay, go ahead and beat us." No, they're playing really good baseball against teams that are either fighting for the playoffs or in the playoff spot right now. The Red Sox, I think they're a game or two back from the wild card. Giants, they're in it, even though they've struggled a little bit here. They've had a lot of ejections. I saw Bob Melvin got ejected yet again today. He's had already 2 or 3 ejections already in the second half. But yeah, Jay Cave, we posted this on the story, and I want to say Susie Hunter posted this on X, but she tweeted out saying that Jay Cave quote said that the Rockies, they want to play better in the second half, but they really want to play spoiler baseball, beat up some of the teams and make them mad, the good teams, right? In the second half, just go out there and win, make the other team mad. That's what they did in the Red Sox series. I mean, a lot of people thought that the Red Sox were probably going to sweep the series in Denver or win 2 out of 3 at least. But the Rockies, they scored. Let me see here. So they scored 29 runs in the series. That's good, right? Of course, they didn't score any runs in the second game, but they faced Nick Pivetta, who despite Game 3, Pivetta's been really, really good. And then they faced Tanner Houck Game 1. They won that game, right? They got to Tanner Houck early, and we saw that in the Giants series. They got to Logan Webb early. They got to him, even though Webb pitched pretty decent. Rockies still got to him enough to where the Rockies were able to hold the lead and work their way from there, right? So that's something that we love to see, and we saw this last year in the second half too, right? The Rockies had a very similar first half as we had this year, right? Second half played a lot better. We had we still had some of those games. It's just like, are you kidding me? Like I remember the game last year in Washington D.C. when I think the Rockies were up by 3 or 4 runs. Daniel Bard just walked like I think 2 or 3 batters in a row. You might remember it, Tom. But like it was so frustrating. It was just like you wanted to smash your TV, whatever, throw your phone down. It was so infuriating. And there was no games last year in the second half, but yet the Rockies they won big series against I believe the Cubs, who were it's kind of hard to believe, but they were in the play. They were racing for the playoffs last year, and here this year they're looking pretty not so good. they're not good. They're not going to make the playoffs. Sorry, Cubs fans, but you're not making the playoffs. But they played really good baseball against postseason like teams. They even played decently well, I think, against LA. Later in the season, and so yeah, I mean the Rockies. This is what you want to see. Yeah, like we're gonna have another 100 loss season because if you look at the standings, you look at the win loss record to last year, it's about the same. So you're looking at another 100 loss season, which to me, again, I've said this before, I'm fine with it as long as we see progression in the players. We're heading the right direction, and I think we definitely are. Um, but yeah, for JK to say that, and for the Rockies to say, hey, we're going to beat up on some of these teams, we're going to play for each other. That means a lot for a lot of the players, but more especially for the fans too, that really still care about this team, and the real fans that still stick with the team, and not just like the casual fan that only likes the team when they win and hates the team when they lose. So um, but yeah, it's been great series all around for the Rockies, and they're going to a stadium that again they've had a rough number at, and that's going to be San Francisco. So, and I believe this will be the last time the Rockies will be in San Francisco this year because they played in San Francisco, I believe back in the month of May, right when they had that hot streak, 7-game winning streak, and I think the Giants actually ended that. So. Hoping for good fortune in San Francisco for your Rockies. Let me see if I can pull up here on my phone here. But yeah, so today day off, no game for the Rockies. Kind of wish there was some sort of game today because again the offense is clicking. But you always see those games to where the Rockies, we've seen the Rockies where they score 12, 13, 14 runs. And the next game they get shut out or only allow 1 or 2 runs. Um, I'm hoping that's not the case tomorrow. But yeah, the Rockies, they'll be playing against the Giants. They have a 4-game series on the MLB app. It looks like a 3-game series, but I just remembered. So on Saturday, there's actually a doubleheader. So there's going to be a early afternoon game and then a later evening game. I'm not sure why MLB did that. There was obviously no rain out, so I guess it's once a year. I think we had that last year. There was a doubleheader at Coors Field, and we never had. I don't think we had any rainouts last year, and we had a couple of doubleheaders. So I don't know why MLB did that, but anyways, yeah. So tomorrow's game, Cal Freeland is getting the start, 8:15 Mountain Daylight Time, 9:15 Central Time, and 10:15 Eastern Time. Kyle Freeland will be on the mound for your Rockies. He's 2-3 with a 5.63 ERA. He's been great ever since he's come back from his injury. Fingers crossed, and hopefully we're fortunate that he gets another good start. Kyle Harrison, the young phenom left-hander for the Giants, will be pitching for them. He's 5-4 in the season with a 3.86 ERA. Good matchup. 2 left-handed pitchers. That's gonna be fun. I don't know if we have any information on the doubleheader yet. And then for Sunday, Austin Gomber will be pitching that game. He's 2-6 with a 4.70 ERA, and he's been pitching pretty well. And that's what we've been seeing over the last several weeks, especially to start the second half. Good starting pitching, minus the tie block start the other day against Boston. Good starting pitching for the Rockies. So that's always positive, and that's something to look forward to. And I guess the positives for the Rockies right now is the power offense is starting to, again, dig in a little bit more. Toglia, Tovar, Doyle, they're starting to get, some home runs. The power is starting to show up. The starting pitching has been good, and the bullpen has been pitching a little bit better. That's the positive. And for things to look forward to moving forward, just again, like Jake Cave, just beat up on those teams. I don't care if it's the Dodgers, Braves, Mets, just beat them up. Try to do your best, try to win that game. And yeah, you're not trying to make the playoffs. Just play your heart out for your teammates and try to ruin their postseason chances. And again, there's some teams that the Rockies will be playing in the next week or two that are they're not playing so good. Like the Braves, they're very very I mean, they're kind of sus right now. They're very suspect right now. They've had a lot of injuries, not really their fault, but they've had a lot of injuries, and they might be a wild card team at best this year. And if things get worse in Atlanta, they might not be a playoff team, but it's going to be weird because the National League wild card, if you look at the standings, it's really weird. Diamondbacks are there, Cardinals are there, Pirates I think, are really close as well. So it's going to be a fun ride over the next couple months as we get ready for October. But yeah, so Tom, any final thoughts before we wrap up the show tonight, heading into the Giants series?
Well, I think it's going to be fun to continue to play spoiler for some teams. It'd be awesome if we win a good number of series for the rest of the season and just be a pain in the side, be kind of that fly on the wall, be that fly buzzing around, annoying you every now and then. Just be that for most all the other playoff teams. And
Mm.
like I said, the next several days are going to be nuts with trades. I'm going to keep my eye open because I'm hoping to work on an article to post on our website about my
Yep.
opinion of the trade deadline. Just either going to be some Rockies going, I think, and hopefully they get a chance to join some talented teams and make a run at the World Series. I mean, I got a pretty idea for my top three guys who are going to leave the Rockies. So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
it is going to be it's going to be a weird market because there's not a lot of elite guys you could say that are players that are going to be available. So we'll see how things
Mhm.
shake out.
Yeah. For those who are watching, make sure you're following us along at Rockies Now on Instagram, X, and Threads because, like Tom said, the trade deadline is only days away, and most likely the Rockies are going to be making some trades, and hopefully at least one trade. If it's one trade, it's understandable. The Rockies, they really don't have a lot of tradable pieces on the team, and I know people say, well, McMahon's tradable. You can't really trade that contract. I know he could be traded. He could, the Rockies could trade him if they wanted to, but again, who's going to play third base, right? I mean, there could be some options, but Charlie Condon, he could be an option, but again, he's over a year away. Maybe Aaron Schunk, but I don't know if the Rockies would like him to be the starting third baseman for the rest of the year, and then or next year too, because the Rockies need a guy that can start next year as well, right? So yeah, stay tuned for Rockies Now content on your favorite social media channels and pages because, like I said, trade deadline's coming up. You're going to want to get that news, but also too, like again, check out our website. We have already several articles out, newer articles. Tom's going to be like Tom said, he's going to have his article coming out soon, sometime after or right around the trade deadline. I think Patrick and Gabe are going to be making some new articles as well, kind of giving a recap of maybe the last 4 weeks or, a preview to the second half for the Rockies. So again, stay tuned for that. Yeah, so the podcast for us, we're hoping to do that soon. We would like to get one done, talking about the prospects, kind of talk about recent Rocky stuff, maybe post trade deadline stuff about who we got in return, our thoughts on the Rockies trade, that sort of thing. But yeah, I think that'll do it for tonight, folks. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's Rockies recap. I'm Steven. His name is Tom. And we hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And we'll talk to you all later after the San Francisco Giants series. As always, go Rockies.